Hi everyone, welcome back to BYOD. We are bouncing all over Park City to cover the Sundance 2014 Film Festival and the finest filmmakers at this festival, in our humble, not so humble opinion. And we are now at New Frontiers, one of our favorite venues where alternative art and digital media shine brightly, thanks to Shari Freelo, and thank you for hosting us again, New Frontiers. I am sitting, very appropriately, with the director and producer of Love Child, Valerie Veach and David Fuchs. We had Valerie on the show for Me at the Zoo, which blew us away, and she is back in full force here at Sundance with Love Child.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you had your premiere last night. How was that?
It was amazing. It was really, it was exciting to share the story finally with everybody.
Isn't it just a great feeling?
Yeah.
After all that work and just quiet test screenings and
Yes.
noodling away.
Yes.
I usually have anxiety attacks though during my premiere. I write down notes changes I'm gonna make.
I have so many changes, structural shots, but it's exciting to feel like the audience's energy, what they like, what they don't like, what holds, and so Sundance is awesome.
I remember when Dig was here 10 years ago, and it was the premiere, and I was horrified. I was like, this is a terrible film. This should not be here. I was sweating, writing notes, and then there was like, yay afterwards, and standing ovation, whatever. It's like, as filmmakers, it's like sharing a child. It's like, here's my child. Do you like my child? And speaking of which, so your entire film is about the death of a child, right? And why that happened and how that happened. Tell us about it.
The film really follows a particular moment in history where there seems to be a kind of breakdown between the virtual world and the real world. And there's a kind of collapse in the digital dualism that we have maintained, that gaming is separate and that the virtual world is separate and that the real world is real. So in the trial of the couple, when internet gaming got them off the hook for manslaughter, we really see the virtual world become quite real and that boundary collapse. I don't know, David, what do you want to add to that?
I mean, it really is a movie about the changing reality, the merging of the real world and the virtual world into one world. So
what I've understood about the film is that there's an absolute, some pretty significant portion of the film is dedicated to us experiencing that virtual world and how compelling it is, because it's unlike anything that we even have today. Like, we here in the United States, where this BYOD is filmed, here we are in America, we don't actually have this level of virtual world yet, where it's that real. Is that right?
Totally.
Well, virtual worlds like Second Life are pretty immersive, and that would be maybe the closest. And World of Warcraft, a game by Blizzard, that would also be pretty close to the virtual worlds in Korea. And
totally. I would say the unique factor about Korea for this story is the level of broadband penetration in the country is at like 100%, and it's been that way for 15 or 20 years, and it's very, very fast. So the social issues that are popping up due to internet addiction or overgaming are being dealt with in a really intense way there first. And here, even as we were finalizing the cut for the Sundance submission, a couple in Tulsa were arrested for neglecting their 3-year-old daughter while they were playing Second Life. And the cops were exploring, were they gaming? Is this mental illness, or is this, what happened here?
Is it insanity?
Yes. So the same thing happened here, 3 years later, and I think it's the level of the infrastructure kind of matches the level of these social issues. And so what's cool about what's happening in Korea is that there's a kind of quest to create a more integrated environment for virtual reality and real life, which...
Right, and now actually before that there was a couple in Arizona, wasn't there, just a few years ago?
That's what I was...
Not Tulsa.
Oh.
No, in Arizona they neglected their child, and I think, I don't know if the child died, but it was 1 year old, I believe, and starving to death on death's door. And I think it was World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're seeing the smoke on the horizon here, is basically what you're saying. And by going east, and Web Junkie does this too, going to China, you're going to Korea in this film. We're looking at possibly our future.
You know what I
safe
hope,
to say?
Yeah, and what I hope
Maybe our prescient future, like almost immediate. We're living in it now. The film Web Junkie and our film Love Child are really perfectly timed for what's occurring in our changing world.
Very quickly, extremely quickly.
Yeah, everything moves so fast now.
Yeah.
And I think what's cool about what we focus on in our film, especially the last third, is this kind of look at what's next. What's the answer to this digital dualism, where there's this virtual world where we escape to, and this real world where we need to be. And it's almost as if a lot of game developers and researchers that we spoke to in Korea are looking at it as like a design problem. So, is it just that we need to further integrate our technology into our everyday life with like wearable tech, like the glasses and the watches, or is it projections around the home space, or is it gamifying, positive social behavior? So using the metrics of fun to reinforce, good parenting through like an augmented reality service kind of thing. So I think I think realizing that we designed this and that we have the power to kind of like work within it and create something that reflects our humanity, I think is exciting. And I hope that the last part of the film kind of pops open that dialogue a little bit. So it's like, yeah, it's scary and there's a sense of foreboding about this drift into the virtual world. But it's also designed by us and facilitated by us and reflects us. And that's really active in the Korean IT kind of research and design sector.
So essentially using tech for good. How can we take the tech that's ever pervasive and is undeniable? I mean, there is this wave that we're on, and there's no stopping it. And I say when we live in public Q&As to this day, don't fight the internet. Don't even bother. Like it's not you're not going to win.
I'm a total techno-utopian. Like, I believe that technology is creating this third space that we can interact in, and it's exciting, and there's a lot of really positive things about it. And with like me at the zoo, one thing that we kind of tried to poke around at is how a lot of larger corporate media companies like Google will kind of take user-generated content and distribute it on their platforms, and they own it, and the relationship and the power dynamic that creates, just like even in how individuals kind of see themselves online in the case of Chris Crocker or whatever. So I feel like there's a lot to be examined about how this whole thing is developing around us, and I think it's
an exciting time to be in the field.
Yeah,
I think we talked about that when you were on the
we did.
on the show.
Yeah.
Just how we feel like we're in the catbird seat a little bit with this. So how do you two work together as a team? You're romantic partners as well, right? And we've have other partners like that on the show, and I always ask this question because it's so interesting to me. I mean, do you ever like have to turn it off, and how do you delineate responsibilities?
Neither of us can compartmentalize, so we really never turn it off, I think.
So you're very accepting of, like you text each other from across the bed?
Yes.
Like bedtime?
We're texting all the time. That's our
Like,
main
do you want
method.
coffee like from the kitchen? Or
Yeah, more detailed paragraphs.
sexting from the kitchen? Like, okay, I'm going to post something now, meet you there. Or, I mean, I don't know. How does it work?
Well,
What is the
professionally
modern,
or
I
personally?
Both.
Okay, David is
There is no difference, right?
David is
there is a difference, but the line is blurred.
I see.
Totally is blurred.
As I think every film takes a kind of like conversation. I think whether a director is working with their editor or a producer or a co-director, it's always a conversation, and that's what makes a really good film. Like, I loved co-directing my last project. I love that dynamic, and in a lot of ways, I feel like our editor and our Korean producing team and David kind of like, they're all collaborators in the process. So with working with David, he is an epic like reality enabler. Like, I was sort of like, oh, I'm so interested in this Korean phenomena. Wow. Like,
and he goes,
twirling my hair, kind of thinking.
Here's your visa.
Well, to be fair,
Here's your
yes, exactly. So we were at Sundance, and he kind of just.
She's gonna keep going on about you.
I am. Well, because I think it's important to the directors get a lot of attention, but the
to be
producers
fair,
do a
right.
lot.
No, but to be fair, I just want to get a word in edgewise here. I would say that I feel Valerie's a creative genius, and this project has been phenomenal to work with her on it. So I felt it's been very rewarding so far, and we're here because of her creative talents. So you know, you're a great director.
Well,
and
it takes a really
You guys
good.
can kiss now. It's fine. It's
I
BYOD.
know. God.
You're just on the internet.
Yeah.
You know?
Hi, internet.
It's your favorite place to be.
Woo.
So go on about David.
So,
you wanted to finish. You cut her off.
You did. So he broke down what worked about the last film that we did, all the components, and then he just kind of repowered that machine, and it was cool, and it was exciting to be given like the creative freedom to do something that was risky. And in the year between when we shot the film and when we sold the film, there was a long time when it wasn't necessarily an HBO documentary, and when maybe it was this weird Korean film. You know, even when I was talking to you this summer, I was like, I don't know what I'm screening for people. This is really overwhelming.
You didn't know yet.
And, you know, David just kind of like, you know, believes that it's a film, and that's, you know, you can't make a film. You can have ideas as a director, but you need that.
So how did you do it? Did you read about this, you read about the couple, they were accused of murder, right?
Manslaughter.
They were accused of manslaughter, never accused of murder.
They were never accused of murder.
Okay. So you read this, and then you went to Korea.
Read this, was making another film, finished that film, and then suddenly David was like, what's your next project? And then I was at Sundance, and I just kind of was like, well, this Korean couple, and then the day that we did the HBO broadcast for me at the zoo, we were flying to Korea. Just boom, in landing and filming, and, you know, it was David was awesome at like.
And then
you know,
filming with the couple?
Yeah.
So how were they?
They were good. The couple doesn't appear in the film.
Oh.
And that's, you know, I think the pathos of the character of the couple is not what the film is about. The film is about this big conversation that we're trying to have, and I think we're having. It's working. People are feeling it. And so the couple is represented very artistically. But in Korea, you know, being in prison is one thing, but being socially excluded or shunned is entirely another. And, you know, to put them on blast unnecessarily in their community is what I just didn't.
It'd be devastating.
We didn't want to make
a
a movie that's a shaming movie that's pointing a finger when it's really a problem that everyone is facing in varying degrees.
It's a systemic
The film can be there without
societal
that.
compassionate
Yeah.
movie.
However, the image is in the film, obviously.
Yes.
The press is in the film, and therefore, you know, they'll still be known and seen by their neighbors. And it must have been kind of painful.
They
was it
moved
not a
suburbs,
painful choice?
so their neighbors don't know who they are, and it's hard to kind of, you know, hide yourself in a small peninsula country, and they're not in hiding or anything. But I just think it's, you know, it felt like the film could be there without them, which it is, and so I'm happy that worked.
Did they change their practices?
Yes, they have another child now, and they're raising their baby.
They don't play games anymore.
They don't play games.
They don't play at all. They were horrified, huh?
Yeah, they didn't mean for it to happen. I think a lot of what happened was the techniques they learned to take care of their online child were applied to their real-life child, and there was a disconnect. So when they would leave the online child for 10 hours, it would just sit there and wait. And when they would leave the baby for 10 hours, it didn't. It, you know, needed food or whatever. So, and truly, they were gaming in such an intense and immersive environment that they really didn't. I mean, in the court and the doctors and everyone saw, they really couldn't distinguish between the two worlds. And that blended space, and even the ruling kind of reinforces that blended space. You know, the Pope just gave a pardon via Twitter or something like that last week, and there's like a lot of talk about how he appeared in mass via Skype or something. And it was like, oh, can these spiritual pardons be transferred over the internet? And if so, is the virtual space also a spiritual space? And then what does that mean, you know, in the kind of traditional divide that we have between the digital world and the virtual world?
I actually wonder the same. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned to you my idea to do at least a short called We Die in Public as a follow-up.
You have to
Oh,
do
I think
that.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
Genius.
because it's
You must.
right.
Totally.
I mean, because we live on in our
Very
Facebook
good.
pages and our virtual identities. And
There's
our
a
Skype.
service.
that tweets on after you die. You can give it all your feed, and it will kind of like algorithmically analyze you. So it'll
It'll just be you.
like
Continue on.
David's Twitter will forever be like, you know, metaphysical quotes and like science articles. You know.
Oh, I gotta follow you on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle? Fuchs.
It's at Fuchs _ the letter U.
It's a bit rude.
Fuchs you. I just got it. Can you imagine? Yeah, I'm not good with getting jokes.
I
Please
thought it was
excuse
Fuchs University for a long time.
Did you? Okay,
Yeah.
good. I feel
No,
better.
totally.
How do we follow the film?
#LoveChildKorea. at LoveChildMovie on Twitter is the best way. And
at
then
LoveChildMovie on Twitter. Okay.
And then this summer at some point it will be on HBO.
Right.
And we have not sold our international yet, so we're here at Sundance. And
wonderful. Who's representing you for sales?
You know, we have a great team behind us, so we're sort of like, you know.
You're just kind of doing it.
There's
You're like Australia.
Over here. Exactly. Well, there's a spreadsheet with territories, and you know, I mean, I think at this point it's a bit early.
I think that's great.
You know,
actually, because there's you know, and one thing for filmmakers, it can be really complicated.
Yes.
Foreign sales, and you really need to keep an eye on your foreign sales agent because they will run off with your money. So you need to have a collections agent. Oh, you had that happen?
I'm not
we
saying
had that
anything.
happen. Oh, I had that happen. I'm still auditing. So, yep. Anyway, another thing that is really fascinating about this film that the programmers mentioned to me in the preview episode is that the real life baby, the virtual baby, was resuscitated, right? That with like,
they noticed that.
Yeah, they noticed that. They loved that.
Yes, totally. No one's mentioned that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's actually a moment in
the
film.
It was amazing. When we got back from Korea, we translated a lot of the video game footage, and I was just downloading clips of it from YouTube where you can't upload to YouTube in Korea, so a lot of the clips I was downloading were from like Taiwan or other areas, that Asian territories that had access to YouTube. So it's funny if you look closely, like a lot of the language on the game segments is like all these different, it's nice, but it's a Korean game and Koreans play it. So as we were translating these different clips from the internet, suddenly I realized the story in the game is actually, really dovetailed with the story of the couple. It was really interesting.
That's really cool.
Kind of coincidental.
I can't wait to see it, and congratulations on being at Sundance and on the reaction you got last night, and I'm sure it's going to be really impactful for all of us to see. So thank you for bringing this story.
We're so happy to be here.
To us.
I mean, Sundance is amazing. It's awesome to be here.
Yeah. Isn't it? All right. This has been another special segment of BYOD. Everybody go to @LoveChildMovie and hit follow, and let's follow it. And these two visionary filmmakers. Thank you for being on BYOD.
Thank you so much.
본 사건이 빨리 잊혀지기를 바라는 이런 마음을 가족들은 가지고 있었습니다.
The striking thing, as far as I'm aware, it was the only crime of its nature in which a child had died as an indirect result of internet gaming.
So this raises a very interesting and far-reaching legal precedent. If online gaming addiction can be seen as a mitigating factor in crimes, the way that, for example, psychological problems, drug addiction, and drunkenness is at present. Some added poignancy to this situation is their daughter's name. Her name was Kim Sarang, which means love in Korean.